All can stand. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I'd like to welcome everybody here tonight on a real rainy night, so I appreciate everybody's attempt and effort to get out to the school committee meeting, so thank you. Right off the bat, I'd like to have the student advisory. If we could have, is it Emily?
Emily, yes. Emily Scholar.
Emily Scholar, come up and give us an update.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Emily Scholar, and I am representing Lynnfield High School tonight as Student Council President. Lynnfield High School has been continuing to excel in academics, athletics, and extracurricular activities this year, and I'm happy to be here to share them with you. First of all, as you all may know, the Thanksgiving game was held in the new stadium field over break, though weather conditions weren't ideal this year, but the Pioneers came out and they had a big 35-0 win over the Hornets. There was a great turnout, and it was a great end to an unbelievable season for the football team. On Wednesday before the big game, we had our annual pep rally. Everybody got dressed up in navy and gold to show their school spirit, and we all cheered on the football team and congratulated all of the fall sports for their accomplishments. LHS had also decided to add a new component of technology with a video that recognized all of the fall sports and the seniors in them, so that was a really great aspect of the pep rally this year. Now, all of the fall sports have officially come to an end. Overall, it has been an awesome season for all the teams. Collectively, we clinched 5 Cape Ann League titles, which was great. Volleyball, football, and girls soccer all won the North Championships this year. Volleyball and football advanced to the state semifinals, and girls soccer made it all the way to the state championship, but unfortunately lost. All the teams have also had their banquets, where many student athletes received awards for their hard work and dedication throughout the season. Winter sports have now begun, and LHS is looking forward to a round of great seasons from our winter teams. Additionally, our advisory groups are working together to complete community service acts. This week, certain advisory groups are collecting stocking stuffers for those in need this holiday. So Operation Kindness is overseeing this activity and will be stuffing the stockings sometimes next week with the help of some of the advisories. And other advisories will be lending a hand in shoveling driveways for within the community for elders. Also, the Habitat for Humanity has recently started their Toys for Tots drive. So far, there have been many generous donations. Habitat will continue the drive all the way through break, and we are hoping to get as many donations as we can. So moving forward, we are looking forward to finishing out the year strong before we start winter break. And as 2014 comes to a close, we are hoping to continue our success into 2015. So thank you for your time tonight, and LHS wishes you all happy holidays.
Thank you so much for the update. Quite a successful fall season for Lynnfield Pioneers. I'm going to move on to the glimpse into the classroom. I know there's a lot of people here to see that, so we're going to move that up on the agenda so that we can see this exciting presentation.
So tonight we have with us Scott Gordon, who is the science department head at the high school.
Good evening, everyone.
And we have Katie Ambrose, who's Katie, who is the Lynnfield Middle School Math Science Curriculum Director. And Christina Noce is the elementary school math science curriculum director. So I'm not sure which one of you is taking the lead. Is it you? Okay, thanks, Katie.
Okay, good evening, and thank you for having us here tonight. We're excited to give you a glimpse into the science classroom. The strand we'll be focusing on tonight is plants, and we will be giving you an overview of how this strand can be seen K-12. In elementary school, plant strands start as early as kindergarten and even back in preschool, and run throughout elementary school. Beginning in kindergarten, students are taught that plants need food, water, and air to survive. In addition to studying in the classroom, students grow plants using Wisconsin Pass seeds at both schools. Last spring, Green City Growers, based out of Somerville, partnered with the Summer Street School to help them grow plants on the raised beds that were built at Summer Street. The group has come up bi-weekly to work hands-on with the 3rd graders. The program will begin at Huckleberry Hill next year. The harvest has been used in 3rd grade lunches this year. The middle school continues the study of plants, where students learn about photosynthesis and other important plant topics you'll be hearing about tonight. About 4 years ago, the high school started 2 gardens to study plants in chemistry class. Now there are 16 raised beds at the high school, primarily funded through multiple grants from LET. The students had a big harvest for Thanksgiving and have also given food to teachers, students, staff, and donated to the cafeteria. The Environmental Science and Sustainability course started this year, and you'll be hearing about that class tonight. Thank you for having us, and we hope you enjoy hearing our students share their experiences learning about plants. We'll start with the elementary school.
Thank you.
I'm going to have Adriana Pascuccio and Michael Savio come sit up here and chat about our plants at Summer Street.
Hi, I'm Adriana. Once a month we go to our garden at Summer Street. We harvest vegetables, plant seeds, weed the garden, and thin plants to make more room for growth. We also remove plants that weren't growing fast enough to make space for new plants. We learned about good bugs for the garden and bad bugs for the garden. They taught us to make a solution from alcohol and soap to keep the bugs away. They showed us that we can take out seeds from the plants that weren't growing to plant them next season. Green City growers put a cold frame over the garden so they could grow a little longer. Crops that grow in the winter are carrots and hardy greens.
Hi, I'm Michael. We have been growing Wisconsin fast plants in our classroom. We have measured and pollinated and studied and weeded and thinned them. When we pollinated the plants, we used a Q-tip to remove some pollen from our plant and rubbed it onto our desk partner's plant. A few days later, the plants grew much taller and the flowers started to drop off. The plant started to tip over. In our journals, we made a hypothesis about how long it would take for the seeds to germinate. It took 2 days. And we also made a hypothesis about how much it would grow and how long it would take for flowers to grow. We also drew a model of our plant and labeled the parts. Some parts of the plant were the flower, stem, roots, true leaves, and seed leaves. We also measured our plants with a bar graph. Thank you.
Thank you.
Middle school will go next. And we have
What a great job, huh?
Mm-hmm.
So hi, I'm Zoe Chen.
I'm Jeff Breezy.
We're both in 8th grade at Lynnfield Middle School.
So first of all, we're going to start off with talking about 5th grade. So in 5th grade, we planted bean plants and made formal observations every three days, drawing and describing the plant at each stage. We also learned how to take care of plants throughout the stages of their lives. We did a cellar experiment using red and blue food coloring to show how the tubes take up water from the roots through the stem. We also classified trees as deciduous and coniferous. We began learning about photosynthesis and the parts of a plant. Another project we did was, in 5th grade, we created a persuasive presentation about a plant part. We had to write 2 important functions of the part and create a project to present to the class. We are also assigned another plant part and minimize its importance. We have to use vocabulary terms and information learned in class to support our argument.
So right now, the 5th graders were the pictures showed paper white narcissus, a flower bulb. Students in 5th grade right now observe the bulb in the classroom as it matures. They identify the parts of the bulb and/or maturing flower and describe the function of the parts. They also recognize the exchange of energy as the plants absorb sunlight's energy into the chloroplasts and create sugar to live as a producer. This leads into discussions of the food chain, such as animals eating plants to get energy.
Now we're going to talk a little bit about 7th grade. Last year, we focused on how to fit plants into ecosystems. So last year we began growing chia plants. Our research question was, how can chia plants grow in different environments? Some examples of these environments are drawers, cabinets, windows, lab tables, sinks, and much more. Some environmental conditions are vinegar, lemon juice, water, and anything really we could think of. And my hypothesis was if the acidity increases, then the chia seeds will grow more and grow faster. My conclusion was the acidity gave a negative effect on the plants and made them dormant. The acidity made the seeds germinate, just not grow. And these are some pictures of what they looked like. This one had lemon juice on it. This one had water.
In 7th grade, we had to create a native garden for a school project. This included plants that are native to our area. Also, there had to be hardscapes and water features to go along with the landscapes. We selected plants that were durable and helpful to one another and the environment. And finally, the garden had to be handicap accessible to go with the school. And these are 2 projects that we did from last year. So. And now this is a glimpse into what we've been doing in recent weeks in 8th grade. So last week we conducted a lab about brown thymo blue and the effects of photosynthesis and respiration onto an indicator solution. So our problem was, how can placing a plant in pH indicator solution prove photosynthesis and respiration are occurring? Our 2 hypotheses included, if there is a presence of an Alodia plant in the indicator solution, then the color of the brown thymo blue will change from yellow to blue, because during photosynthesis, plants take in carbon dioxide and release oxygen as a second hypothesis during respiration, plants take in oxygen and then release carbon dioxide. So we put Alodia plants into low and high acidity solutions to see the effects of respiration and photosynthesis of plants to the indicator solution. And as a result, we saw that plants photosynthesize and respirate on their own cycles. Proof came from the color of the solution, green and yellow where respiration took place, and dark blue where photosynthesis took.
So this is our Alodia, which is the plant we used in the test tube. And carbonic acid had a role in turning the substance yellow. The blue test tubes were left alone with oxygen in them. The goal of the lab was to see if photosynthesis released enough oxygen to change the color back to blue from yellow. The other goal of the lab was to see if respiration could take the oxygen and release carbon dioxide to turn the blue substance yellow. For photosynthesis, the test tubes were left under a grow light overnight. For respiration, the tubes were kept in a dark chamber.
Thank you.
And you-
Good evening. I'm Katie Harrison.
I'm Nick Miller.
I'm Chris Bartolotta.
And we're part of the high school's environmental science and sustainability course. Thank you all for having us here.
So we have 16 raised bed gardens outside in the area between the 2 wings, and in each garden there are 2 varieties of plants being grown by a group of 3 people. The groups are made up of the environmental sciences and sustainability class.
So far this year, that's like since September, since the beginning of the school year, we have grown and harvested white radishes, arugula, jaguar romaine, tatsoi, which is an Asian vegetable that has more vitamin C than oranges and more calcium than milk per serving, gailan, which is Chinese broccoli, watermelon radish, red salad bowl lettuce, white Russian kale, and Swiss chard. These are pictures of some of our vegetables being grown and harvested. Up here is gailan. Here is jaguar romaine, and you can't see it very well, but there's like red stripes all over it. Watermelon radish and white radish after we've harvested it. Swiss chard, notice the red stem, and tatsoi. And this is our garden. We're in one of the garden groups. So in the very beginning of the year, it had all these weeds growing in it, but we weeded it, and that was our plants in the beginning stages of growing. We had white Russian kale and watermelon radish. This is our plants when they're a little bit more mature, and that's our garden a couple weeks ago when we put a low tunnel over it for the winter.
Furthermore, we grew sun gold tomatoes in our gardens. Sun gold tomatoes are an heirloom variety vegetable. They are quite expensive and they are quite delicious. Seeds for sun gold tomatoes cost about $30 per gram. Last year, some classes planted sun gold tomatoes in one of our gardens, and this year we were able to harvest some of the tomatoes and eat them. However, some of the tomatoes went bad and we were able to salvage the seeds from them. We were able to save about $300 worth of seeds with these Sun Gold tomatoes.
Vegetables that we've been harvested have been used in the school's taco shop. Also, there have been taste testings in class and also tatsoi smoothies and salads. Also, excess vegetables have been donated to students and staff at the school.
So currently we're studying low tunnels, thermodynamic studies, and indoor gardens.
We have performed
Sorry. So usually the growing season would have been over for months now, but we put low tunnels over 8 of our gardens, and and this picture was actually taken today of our garden. So as you can see, our kale is still growing and flourishing.
Over the past few weeks, we've been performing thermodynamic studies. A thermodynamic study is the study of energy changes. We have been performing these studies inside and outside of our gardens to see if they would actually survive over the winter. On the next slide, you can see a graph of our data. This red line here, you can see, is the inside of, our low tunnel. They had an average temperature of about 68.24 degrees Fahrenheit, while outside, the blue line had an average temperature of 57.15 degrees. That's about a 10-degree difference in the averages. So you can see that our low tunnel was able to get up to 68 degrees, 82 degrees on a cold day. So we are able to keep our plants alive over the winter.
Inside the classroom, we have 2 gardens that are inside of earth boxes. They're kept alive by UV light, and in those gardens we are growing both basil and spinach.
So moving forward with the class, we have a large greenhouse on the way to put over our gardens, but some problems with shipping have meant that we haven't gotten it yet. We're gonna use a hydroponic system, some UV vis spectroscopy, a scanning electron microscope with UNH, and farm-to-school programs and food banks.
In our class, some students have constructed a hydroponic system. Those students are Zachary Manzioni, Mark Budd, and Drew McCarthy. Other than some issues with some leaks, this hydroponic system is up and ready to go so that we can start using it over the winter.
We've also started the study of the chemical structure and health aspects of different vitamins, and we've done presentations on them in the class. We will also be analyzing for vitamin content using a technique called UV vis spectroscopy, which means the amount of light absorbed by molecules. It allows for the very accurate identification of organic molecules.
So as we learn about plant anatomy and photosynthesis, we're going to have access to a scanning electron microscope with UNH, where we can view samples real time from our classroom at 1,000,000 times the magnification. And Mr. Gordon is actually doing a test run with UNH tomorrow.
As our plants continue to grow, we are still able to harvest them. So we have, as said, we were able to donate some of our plants to our taco shop. However, we are looking into farm school programs, which are programs that will allow us to use our plants inside of our cafeteria. And we're also looking into donating our plants to food banks.
And that's about it. Are there any questions?
Thank you. Any questions?
I just have a comment that this was a great presentation. I think if listening to the presentation, it was very clear how the study of plants bridged many different disciplines: biology, chemistry, English language arts, I heard, community service, a lot of different disciplines that we hope the kids are learning about in the school. So it was a great presentation from that viewpoint.
I would echo that, and I would also just say, for all of you, coming up and speaking here, it's hard for adults to do. So for you guys to do it in 3rd grade and 8th grade and in high school is very, very impressive, and y'all did a great job.
Thank you. You're all very poised.
thought it was nice to see them using the iPads, too.
Yeah, I noticed that.
That's great. Thank you so much. It was a wonderful presentation. It's always so great to see the wonderful work the students are doing in the classroom and the support of the parents, so thank you.
And so we purposefully put you on first, so you do not have to stay for the entire school committee. So we will give you time to exit now, if you so wish. Thank you so much for coming and presenting tonight. You're very welcome, Michael.
Great
Thank you
job.
so much. You did a great job. Do you see everything you have to look forward to when you get to the high school? Isn't that exciting? You did a great job, Michael. I'm very proud of you.
Great job. Thank you. I feel like I should have worn my tie.
Thank you. Excellent.
Didn't click. Great job. It was so clear to see the strands, wasn't it?
Yeah, it looks like
It's all in the leadership, Dorothy.
I'm gonna be right in my face. She's totally working with I'm like, oh, I thought you moved. I was going to, but that thing's right in my face.
They were going to put it in the slideshow. I thought they were going to put it actually in the slideshow.
You can go to, well, we can,
Because they asked me. Just introduce. And the slideshow, put it on paper, I said, put it on the slideshow.
It's a great idea. I like that.
They need, so that just makes it easier.
It's right here. Do you want to move it this way a little bit?
are you okay?
Are you blinded?
A little bit.
We're
Yeah, maybe I'll.
you can kitty corner that table a little bit if you want, like we did last week. If you want here. Is that better? Just pull the microphone over to you too.
Need your water. Thank you. Okay, I think we're ready. All right.
now.
Well, thank you so much for having us here tonight.
Thank you.
I'll just introduce myself and who I have with me. I'm Kara Morrow. I'm the Special Services Director for the district. I have with me Christina Noce, the Math and Science Curriculum Director at the elementary level, and Christina Ryan, our preschool and elementary level team chairperson for the district. Also, someone who's not here tonight but contributed to the presentation that we're speaking about right now is Maureen Fennessy, our ELA Director. She was unable to be here tonight. So the purpose of our presentation tonight is to give you an update on the state of the preschool, in particular the curriculum review. I'll tie a lot of the presentation back to the preschool improvement plan that I spoke with you about last spring, where overall the main focus of our work at the preschool this year was to really establish a effective professional learning community, to really work with the staff there to be spending more of our time talking about students, talking about progress, and talking about really focused work that we're doing with our students in our 3-year-old class and our 4-year-old class. So if we just click the slide, I'll just go through and just set a foundation for the discussion tonight. So our current staff at the preschool, as you're probably aware, we have 2 classroom teachers right now. We've continued since last year to split the preschool classes by age with a 3-year-old class and a 4-year-old class. And the 4-year-old class, we're prioritizing students who are going to kindergarten the following year. So we do have some students in our 3-year-old class who will turn 4 throughout the year. But the students we place in that 4-year-old class, it's really considered a pre-kindergarten class. And all of those students will be heading off to one of the elementary schools the next year. We have a speech and language pathologist who also shares a caseload at the Summer Street School, so she's traveling back and forth between the preschool and Summer Street. An occupational therapist who does the same. A physical therapist who's district-wide, and a BCBA, which is a board-certified behavior analyst, who we've really brought down for more frequently this year and last year. So that person is Derek Munyon. He is district-wide, working with some other programs in the district, and he's been a great asset to our preschool program. So just the next slide, our current class structure. I just spoke to this, so the way it is mapped out, we're running a morning 3-year-old class right now. Mostly Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Tuesday, Thursday for the options. Our class sizes are ranging. As I've spoken to you earlier, we receive early intervention referrals throughout the year, so our 3-year-old class size does expand. We try to start it at a reasonable size. We have 3 adults
supporting the class, a lead teacher and 2 paraprofessionals. So right now we're around 14 students in each 12 to 14 students in each class. And then we have 4-year-old classes in the morning and in the afternoon. We don't typically get a high turnout for our afternoon 3-year-old class. It's challenging at that developmental level for students to sustain energy within the afternoon. And we tried to run one this year, but we tend to have more of a preference for the morning class. For most early childhood programs in general, the morning, is a great instructional time, and developmentally, that's just when they're at their best. So we've had a hard time filling our afternoon 3-year-old class. And we anticipate to continue to group the students by age going into next year, which has really driven our curriculum work that we've done, that we've started this year, which Christina will get into next. Just to set the stage for that, I spoke with you last year about our improvement plan at the preschool and how we're really trying to get focused on assessment, monitoring students' progress, making sure that we have a clear idea of what's expected at the kindergarten level so that all of our efforts are spent preparing them for that. And one of the things that we did as part of that plan was to utilize a preschool special education program improvement grant that allowed us to work with Maureen and Christina to get some consistency from the elementary level down to the preschool level, and basically take the model that's been so effective at the elementary level and bring it down to the preschool level. So Christina and Maureen, enthusiastically took that task on, and as we started thinking about it, I thought some great ideas came out from both Maureen and Christina about how they wanted to run this group. And just in order to make the conversation rich and to get perspectives of other local preschool teachers, we opened it up through our collaborative listserv. So we ended up passing along the word that we would be hosting in Lynnfield this workshop that would be focused on preschool curriculum to other districts in the area. And we got a pretty good turnout. We have about, I think, eight people participating locally, and we're getting some good feedback on that. So I will let Christina speak to that next, on the next slide.
We do have 8 members of our class that have met with us twice now. It's Maureen and I created a 4-day workshop series that we've had 2 of the classes that have met so far, and we have 2 more coming up. The goal of our class has been to really unpack the standards for the pre-K, the new pre-K 2011 math standards, really as a way to have all the preschool teachers look to see that there are standards that are in place and what they are, the same that we have done at the elementary level. We started with unpacking the guiding principles for ELA and math, the standards for mathematical practice, as well as the anchor standards for reading. In the last session, I was able to work with the group on just math all day, and we really went through every math standard by standard, and had them break up and work together to come up with what each standard would look like in the 3rd grade, in a 3-year-old classroom, as well as in a 4-year-old classroom, and how it would be assessed in both of those classrooms as well. We're trying to give them a true document that they can leave with that lists out every standard in both ELA and math with examples of how it can be used and how it can be assessed as well, so that they really have a working document to go from. The goal is to do something similar in ELA at the next session. One of the best things about having the 8 teachers working together is we've really been able to have more than just the ideas of we only have 2 teachers in our program. So to be able to have so many more teachers to put that together, we're so lucky that we have Huckleberry and Summer Street that when we get together for professional development, we can put all of our heads together on a team. This has been able to give us that opportunity as well. They have been sharing ideas. Even today, I got another message through a Google Doc saying, this is another great way to teach teen numbers and to introduce them. You should try this in your classroom. And they're sharing links, they're sharing actual resources and where they've purchased them. We took a lunch break and they said, do you mind if we just drive up to Lake Shore and go pick up a couple of the things that you've been talking about? So they're really taking advantage of each other and sharing those resources, which is nice. I'm also looking forward to our first preschool assessment meeting, which will be on January 26th. And we will be meeting with the preschool teachers to talk about every student with a model, just like we are doing at the elementary school that has been in place for the past 12 years now or so, more or less.
Give or take.
So, another excellent piece of the professional development, not only the workshops, but Maureen and Christina had the idea of doing the follow-up classroom visits. So not to jump in on that piece, but I thought that was an excellent point where they're talking about the content within the workshops, and then Christina and Maureen are arranging times to go into our preschool classrooms to see everything that was discussed in action, and to also give follow-up feedback around that, and just be able to pick apart what they tried, what worked, what didn't, and make a plan for next time. So I think that's been a really important part of that.
It has, and the teachers have really taken advantage of that and even gone further to say, would you model a lesson for me around this area? Or, that's something that I would love to have a better picture of what that would look like in the classroom. Can I see that? I've modeled lessons, and I've also joined the preschool teachers to observe other teachers and talk about how a kindergarten or a first grade lesson could be made into a pre-K lesson as well. So they've really taken advantage of that.
Just continuing professional development continued on the next slide. The other, oh, I'm sorry. No, I'm still on my last slide. So, sorry, Jen.
Yes, please.
But I did want to mention that our preschool teachers have sat in on the kindergarten assessment meetings as well to get a sense of what the expectations are for those meetings and be part of it. And it's nice because they will have had some of the students that are being discussed and can contribute to the conversation that way as well. And Christina Ryan has also attended those meetings, so she can have a clear understanding of what the structure is for those meetings, so we can model them accordingly at the preschool level. So, thanks, Jen. That's good. And then other professional development, that we've had outside consultants. I've spoken to you about the outside consultants that we've used before too, and our preschool staff has continued to participate in social language training, as well as they recently participated in the November 4th Zones of Regulation training. And I'm seeing that the teachers are starting to integrate this language and strategies whole group, so the students become familiar with this type of strategy that will carry them up to the elementary level. Did you want to get into ELA, or did you cover this one?
Oh, for ELA, I guess I mentioned this on the last slide. I apologize. But Maureen and I are doing a similar model. So for the next preschool class will be Maureen guiding them through the ELA standards and doing the same thing. What would each standard look like in a 3-year-old class and a 4-year-old class? The preschool standards were really written, and they clearly state that they were written for 4 to 5-year-olds, really that pre-kindergarten class. But we really want to take the opportunity, because every program out there has a 3-year-old class and a 4-year-old class. So we've really been taking the opportunity to say, if this is what the standard is, and this is absolutely what has to be done in the 4 to 5-year-old class, what would that look like in the 3-year-old class? So Maureen will be doing that as well, talking about the instructional decisions that they'll be making with that. The other piece that we've really spoken to with both math and ELA and everything that they're teaching at the preschool level is really just bringing that oral language in and taking advantage of every moment that you've got those preschoolers in that classroom, and talking about, if they're in the play center, how can you talk about how many cookies do you have? How many more cookies would you have if you made a few more, or if I took a few away? Really talking to these teachers about how every moment is really a teachable moment when you're in that classroom.
You touched on the next slide too, which is
I did. Sorry.
You're fine.
Got it all at once.
No. So, and then we are in the point of the year where we'll begin projecting into next year, and we have our preschool open house on Thursday night, and that is something that we offer every year, where we invite parents, new parents to town, or parents of students who will be 2.9 by September, and we talk to them about what our program will look like. And at this point, projecting out into next year, we have really started to focus on our registration process over the past couple of years, and just to make sure that we're utilizing our staff, that we're creating reasonable class sizes with the understanding that we do receive early intervention referrals throughout the year, and we want to always make sure that our staff to student ratio is appropriate and that all student needs are being met. So we are, putting a little bit more of a cap around the number of students that we will accept to be in line with our students that we can project out for next year who will have special needs, and the typical students we'll be accepting for next year. So we'll have an eye on that. So we'll open up the open house to all of our families. We'll share the information with them, but there is a more structured process to it now, so that we're not signing up more kids than we can serve effectively. There's a strong focus on really meeting the needs in an effective manner, and that really starts with class size. And we're also continuing to keep an eye on referrals that we get for students who maybe need more specialty program, they might need more intensive supports. So these are all of the things that are on our mind as we're looking to next year. And preschool registration is very challenging to predict and to plan for, so we're trying to be conservative, and there's always a potential that we could, open things up and accept more students, but for now, I see us taking a pretty conservative approach to the number of 3-year-old students that we'll be taking as peer models looking into next year. And I will go back to a big topic for next year with the preschool, which is the relocation of the preschool to Summer Street School for next year. Something I'm very excited about. I know we've spoken as administrative leadership team. We're really excited about it. Spoken with the preschool staff, and they're excited about it as well. I think it's a huge opportunity for the district. Since I've come to the district, one of the underlying feelings that I've experienced at the preschool and had conversations with about is that feeling of disconnect from the rest of the district, being off-site, and it can be really challenging to unite the preschool teachers with the rest of the district. So I think to have them housed in an elementary school that is functioning at such a high level, and to have all of the resources at their fingertips in classrooms that are well-equipped to serve an early childhood population, it will be nothing but a win-win. We have huge impact in terms of impact on therapists. We have people traveling here, there, and everywhere. Everyone will be housed in one spot. Our speech and language pathologists will no longer have to travel. Our occupational therapists will have consistent administrative oversight, which is something I have been speaking with Jane about, and Tom before her, about the need to have consistent administrative oversight. I mean, it is a school, it's functioning as a school, and to not have a administrator who can be there on site to problem solve, to be in the classrooms giving ongoing support throughout the day is a real loss for the teachers in terms of establishing that professional learning community that is our goal based on our improvement plan that we had talked about last year. Additionally, through our special education process, we meet weekly at both elementary schools as a larger group to talk about student needs, to talk about programming, to plan for IEP meetings. All of that we anticipate preschool teachers being a part of, to again, just as we expanded for the workshops, to expand weekly for them the number of people that they can consult with and troubleshoot with to better serve their students. Again, we also anticipate their full participation in assessment meetings at Summer Street School as well. School psychologists, full-time nurse on site. That has been something that's been coming up with more and more students having specific medical needs. To not have a full-time nurse on site at the preschool has been somewhat of a negative for us down there. So, and that's been a stress on the nursing staff as well. So just another pro. So in weighing all of the pros and cons, I absolutely can sit here and say that I think the pros far outweigh the cons on this, and I think it will have a huge impact for our preschool staff and our preschool students moving into next year. I don't know if you have any questions for us at this time.
I have one quick question. I know that Christine and Maureen, your focus is math, English, language arts, science, and so forth, but I think if I was a preschool parent hearing the emphasis on ELA and math tonight, I would wonder about the social side of learning, which you think of it being as a big part of a preschool. So I'm assuming that is by no way ignored at all in the fact that
that's a great point. You can
absolutely. Well, and that's why I wanted to mention how we really have put an emphasis on the oral language, because it is so important that they are playing and that they're having those social interactions in preschool. And we've really gotten across the message, too, that our kindergarten teachers will always say they're most worried about, will the kids be ready to come in and be ready to learn? Will they know, what it looks like to be in a classroom and to work with peers and to be able to sit at the rug? And it's not as much about the math and the ELA that's coming in as much as their readiness for school. So we are definitely having those conversations with the preschool teachers as well, and really emphasizing how we can pull the curriculum that needs to be taught into the socializing that they need to be doing anyway, and the play that we want them to be embracing.
Thank you.
And the way the classrooms are structured at both at both class, the 3-year-old and the 4-year-old, there's opportunity for play and built into their day. They're starting their day with a free choice time that's facilitated play in a couple of different areas, and then they're moving into small group centers, time out at recess, snack, all of that. I think our focus is make every opportunity a learning opportunity.
Absolutely.
And let's not have, our preschool programs are 3 hours in length. So let's really maximize the time. And what does that learning look like? The learning isn't, drill and kill, ELA, and math. It's
Right.
They're learning how to be in school, how to be with their friends in a group setting, how to share, how to interact socially. So, there's a lot of tie-in that will get them that much more ready to learn in kindergarten.
And if I could just jump in here, because I also don't want anyone to think that the assessment meetings are going to be about pulling in math, ELA, science, and social data. It's really about talking about the readiness skills. How is this child doing playing outside with a friend? How's this child doing, lining up? How's this child's self skills in terms of being able to maybe put on his own coat, zipper coat, put on his book bag? So the assessment meetings for the preschool level look very different than they do for the kindergarten students or the older learners, but they're still very, very important to have all of those people sitting around the table and saying, if this child is having a hard time socializing with their friend next door, what are some of the things that we can do to help them be successful? So the assessment meetings are largely about the social emotional piece of their development at that age.
Thank you.
Any other comments or questions?
I just want to say the program is a great balance between social, emotional learning and academic endeavors. Thank you very much. Tremendous.
And I'm thrilled you're moving back to Summer Street. I think no one dreamed that the preschool program would be at Summer Street for as short a time as it was when the building was renovated. And just all the things that you talked about that are positives for the program, I think will do nothing but benefit the program.
I'm excited about it.
Yeah, to echo Dorothy on that, I think it's a great move, and hearing the positives, certainly I don't see a negative. It's just a wonderful opportunity for the preschool program, and just the simple thing that there's availability of a nurse. That is just a huge, that's a huge piece of the preschool program, so I think that's just a lot of positives. I'm looking forward to it happening.
Thank you so much for having us tonight.
Yes,
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Move on to superintendent's report.
Want to do minutes first?
Yeah, why don't we do minutes since we're bouncing around the agenda tonight. We have 2 meetings, minutes for approval, the regular meeting of November 4th, 2014, and the regular meeting for November 25th, 2014.
Move to approve the minutes for the regular meeting on November 4th and the regular meeting on November 25th.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, Dorothy? Oh, you did both at the same time. Thank you. Let's move right on to the superintendent's report.
Okay, I actually only have a few things on the report tonight. The first is a huge celebration. Kevin Sear, who's the assistant principal at the high school, was nominated by Bob Clary, the principal, through the Mass Secondary School Administrators Association to be Assistant Principal of the Year, and I am just ecstatic about the fact that he was chosen out of all of the assistant principals in Massachusetts. And I have to tell you, I don't believe that there is a better person to receive this award. His dedication, his passion, his undeniable commitment to not only the students that he knows he's privileged to serve, but also for the teachers that he works with every day. I think one of the quotes I gave to the newspaper this week was that I admire Kevin for so many reasons, but mediocrity is just simply not in his vocabulary when it comes to his position as assistant principal. And I speak for myself as well as the entire administrative team when I say that we feel so honored to be his colleague. He is most deserving of this award, and I'm just absolutely thrilled that he's receiving it. So he will be honored in Washington, D.C. in April. And after that, he will also be honored at the conference that the secondary principals have. And I believe that's in July, this summer down the Cape. So he's a little bit nervous about those two things, but he's going to do just fine. So I just want to share that very good news with all of you. And the other thing that I just want to talk about, I've spent the past 2 days in classrooms. Monday, I spent the day at Huckleberry Hill School, and today I spent the entire day at the high school. And I just have to say there are so many wonderful things happening in our classrooms, K to 12. And I think that you got a little taste of that tonight through our presentation. As luck would have it, I happened to spend most of today in science classrooms at the high school. And I spent yesterday in a lot of second, first, and third grade classrooms. And the things that just stood out to me were in the elementary schools, just the way that the teachers have really helped the students become independent learners. And so what I mean by that is what I saw in every single classroom, without question, was students working independently and taking ownership for their learning, but really doing it in a meaningful way. When I sit down next to a third grader and say, why are you writing this? They can explicitly tell me why they're writing it and what they're working on. And that may seem like a little thing, but when you have 22 kids in a classroom, for kids to really know and understand what it is they're supposed to be working on, that's the goal, but it doesn't always work that way. And there was not one child that I asked them yesterday at Huckleberry Hill School that they did not know what they were doing and why they were doing it and why it was important. And at the high school today, what really struck me was the level of the high conversations that was happening between the students. And so whether it was an AP chemistry class or a forensics class, no matter where I walked in, two things struck me. The small group work that was happening in all of the high school classrooms, and then the high level of conversations where kids were truly collaborating with each other and really pushing back on one another if they didn't agree with a hypothesis or something that they were working on. And so I was really proud of the work that I saw today, and I just wanted to share that with all of you. And the last thing, I want to give you an update on my new superintendent induction program, because it wouldn't be a school committee meeting if I didn't do that. I have this week, last week I met with all of the selectmen independently, just as part of the my fact-finding mission, just to talk to them about their thoughts on our school system and where we're going and what we're doing. And the good news is I did not hear any surprises. So everything that I heard from them, I pretty much thought that I would have those kinds of conversations with them. And tomorrow I am meeting with Joan Conley, my coach, and we are going to begin the very important work of looking through all of the data that I've collected. And I believe it's going to be in February that I will be sharing my initial findings with all of you. So again, I know I keep saying it, but I need you to know how grateful I am for the opportunity to be part of that program, because I really do think it's going to make a difference in me as a superintendent and ultimately will make a difference for our district. So I want to thank you for supporting me in that opportunity.
Thank you, Jane, for that great update. I'm going to move on to public participation. Seeing and hearing none, we'll move right on to a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Do we have a vote on
the choral field trip?
Field trip.
Oh, the choral, that's, you know, the agenda's been moved around so much tonight with all the rain. A vote. Dorothy, do you want to take the lead on that?
Just let me find the dates. Move to approve the choral field trip study to Williamsburg, Virginia, on either May 29th to June 1st or May 30th to June 2nd.
Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Now a motion for adjournment.
Move to adjourn.
All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Thank you.
I was waiting to
Guess we're
second.
not sure.